Hey RT family, Ryan Reynolds here with Keller Williams Consultants Realty, and today's Community Spotlight, I'm with Andrew Hoffman with Hoffman's Lawn and Fertilization, and I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions today. So Andrew, welcome. Thanks for taking the time to talk.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So first question, Andrew, is tell me a little bit about Hoffman's and how it got started.
Yeah, so my brother and I partnered on the business about 10 years ago. He'd been doing it before that, maybe 5 or 6 years on his own, and same with myself out west. And we decided to combine forces and come back home and start a business together, a little family operation.
So it's a family business, been in business probably since about what year? Do you have any idea?
Oh, goodness. I know that, I think it's our 10th season.
10th season.
Beyond that though, like I said, we both did it years before, but it probably wasn't tracked that well.
Yeah. So how did you get into lawn care just in general? Did you do it in high school or?
Right out of high school, my brother started doing it first, and pretty much, you know, if your big brother's doing it, your little brother generally you follow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and my kids will know all about that, I think. Yeah, that's great. So we want to talk about a couple things so that our clients here can have some good value. Right now it is late February, even though it's 60-something degrees out, strange day.
Yep.
And stuff's starting to green up already. I think I see buds starting to really like get ready to go. So what would be a good tip for what people should be doing right now?
Right now, I guess the big thing to think about is putting down that first application of pre-emergent. So your first fertilizer application, pre-emergent, is what's going to prevent crabgrass from coming up. The shrubs that we've actually got behind us are kind of a key thing to the timing of that. So these are forsythia. They bloom in a little yellow flower.
I've seen
the idea is to have the pre-emergent down right before that flower blooms.
Oh, so that's the kind of timing. So those probably are keyed on some kind of ground temperature or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. So 50 degrees is the key. So if the soil temperature is at 50 degrees, that's when crabgrass germinates.
Okay, and nobody likes crabgrass because that is just something, if you let it get out of control. In fact, I had a problem a few years ago where I let my lawn just go because I was trying to do it myself, and it wasn't pretty. So the dandelions got out of control. Anyway, so let's talk about that. So the biggest enemies this time of year are fighting really the crabgrasses. When would you think about doing something about dandelions or preventing those? Dandelions, normally that's a generally easy weed to control. It's broadleaf, so most pesticides can handle it. With our applications, actually, they we do that every time we come out. So we do like 6 applications a season, right? But again, those are the easy weeds to knock out. It's actually Ohio's most prevalent flower, the dandelion. So, but we use also a special product called Defender. So a lot of broadleaf weeds with normal pesticides this time of year can't be controlled, but we use one that's called Defender, and it works when plants are still dormant. Really?
So that is key to success, I'd say. Just new technology keeps coming out again and again.
That makes total sense. So I know you're down at the show this weekend, or the Home and Garden Show. I know there's several of them throughout the season. You guys are probably at a bunch of them. So does that mean you guys work pretty much everywhere, or where's your typical target area?
So our service areas for the past 10 years have been right here in Delaware and down to Dublin, Westerville, and this is our first year that
Northern Columbus.
So this is our first year that we're expanding actually to Marysville, and we're also going up to Marion County as well. So that's going to be limited to just the turf care, fertilization, pest control, that kind of thing. But we're really excited to enter those areas.
So if one of our clients would like to hire you, but they don't live in the area where you service, how would you just tell them to qualify how would you select another lawn care provider? Right.
Well, I suppose first you want to make sure that they're, registered with the Department of Agriculture, that they're fully licensed. You know what I mean? That they've been in business for a while, and that probably they're going to be in business for a while because, you can run into issues, and it takes years of development to come up with a good program for Ohio.
That makes sense.
So a lot of lessons learned, I suppose, over the years with us.
A couple burned lawns here and there, and then kind of learn from that.
Maybe.
So if somebody's looking to hire a lawn care company, what they're really looking for is looking for some of the long track record, probably, probably somebody that's licensed, fully licensed. How would you check that out? How do you even know if someone's licensed?
Great question. So you can go to the Department of Agriculture's website, and there's a search there. So once you get their name, you can search through their records and see their history.
That makes sense. Now I know a lot of our clients are probably stubborn, and they may be do-it-yourselfers and want to just kind of do it themselves. So what's the number one mistake that a do-it-yourselfer would make, you think?
Let's see, I suppose coming into wintertime, a lot of lawns, they're yellow right now. You've got some bare patches, a lot of exposed dirt. People always come and say, hey, when should I throw down seed? I want to put it down this spring to get these areas to fill back in. So if you put down seed, it kind of ruins your opportunity to put pre-emergent down. Pre-emergent is what stops the new weeds from germinating, stops crabgrass. So if you put seed down and you also want to put, you know, your crabgrass preventer, it's canceling all your seed work.
Right.
So ideally, if there are little patches of seed you want to, or sections that are brown, you just want to isolate that area, you can seed that, but just know you are going to fight crabgrass throughout the entire summer on that section. So if you're going to introduce seed to a lawn, really the best time to do it is going to be in the fall.
In the fall? Yeah, I know. Actually, I reseeded a couple areas in my yard last year, and they're kind of coming up, but they're kind of scrabbly. I'm hoping they'll just fill right in. Is that pretty much what happens most of the time?
Yeah, I mean, grass is growing really aggressively in the springtime, especially on top. Roots develop in the fall. So, and also grasses spread through rhizomes. It just keeps branching out. As you notice, for some reason, there's always grass creeping into your beds. Well, it's naturally going to do that in your lawn if you're feeding it, taking care of it, if you're aerating. And actually, that's something we didn't touch base on is, spring aeration. That's a great way to get a lawn to fill in.
Just in the spring or just in the fall or both? Or?
Yep, great question. If you want to be aggressive and your lawn really has a lot of improvement that needs to take place, I would recommend doing spring aeration and fall. Fall is going to be your most important because it really is a stimulant for your roots. Roots are the most active in the fall, and it also allows you to do your overseeding then as well.
Okay, so that makes sense. And so just to be kind of clear, so aeration, what it's going to do is going to plug a hole in the soil, and what does that do? Just get air down there, I guess?
Yeah, it gets air down there. It loosens up the soil. Not to mention, I mean, that little plug that you pull out, little microbes in the soil that are subsurface, you're bringing those up to the surface. Those microbes then break down and eat the thatch, and then it allows little tillers to grow through those holes, and it's almost like you're growing new plants right there.
That's cool. So aeration is pretty important, sounds like.
It is, yeah. It's definitely one of the most overlooked things that benefits a lawn.
Okay. So let me ask you again, another sort of question I hear sometimes is, I know a lot of people, and this may not be something you can even answer, but I know a lot of people don't like to have chemicals on their yard. Is there any option for people like that?
Yeah, I mean, there are some organic products out there. When it comes to, I guess, getting rid of weeds and or crabgrass or preventing them, I can't say that I can really point at any organic product, but as long as you read the label and you listen to the directions of the applicator, you know, you're gonna be safe. So everything it takes a long time for one of these products to be approved by the Department of Ag.
All right, so one of the questions I always think about or hear about is, I know that here in Ohio we have all kinds of different grass options because lots of grass grows. I've heard of Kentucky bluegrass, and I've heard of like different ryegrasses and fescues. And can you tell me what would be if I was starting a whole new lawn, I said, look, I'm done with my old lawn, I want to put a new lawn in, what would be the best thing to put down?
By far, Kentucky bluegrass was always pushed for a really long time. It's got a great name, great for marketing. It's going to be so green that it's blue. Well, we run into a lot of issues with Kentucky bluegrass. Not to say that it's not a great grass. It does have its benefits, like every grass does. But if we were going to start brand new, the route that I would definitely go is turf type tall fescue. And you're going to do a blend because every grass type has its benefits. Not to mention that certain grasses are green during certain times of the year. So with our blend, we put down 80% turf type tall fescue, 10% perennial rye, and 10% Kentucky bluegrass. So
just a little bit of bluegrass.
Yeah. Turf type tall fescue, it's been bred to really have a lot of great characteristics of Kentucky bluegrass and perennial rye. It can handle drought really good. Also traffic. If you look at any sports field, Ohio State turf, right? That's what they're using is turf type tall fescue.
I've heard that before. In fact, I did some research a while ago, and that's exactly what it said. The fescues are a lot more hardy and better for traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. The upside to, for instance, like a perennial rye though, if you drive around right now and you see some lawns that are a little bit yellow and one that's green, it's not because somebody's doing a better job on their fert and weed control or aeration. I mean, I'm sure that comes into play, but it might be that they just have a lawn that's full of perennial rye. So that greens up earlier in the springtime. Downside to it though is that you are going to see it go brown, and essentially that grass will grow until it dies. It doesn't ever go dormant or shut off.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that. So there you have it. This is Andrew Hoffman with Hoffman's Lawn and Fertilization. If you live in the Delaware, Marysville, Dublin, Westerville area, you need somebody to take care of your lawn this year, whether it's through mowing or through weed control and fertilization, definitely reach out to Andrew. We'll put his information, our contact below here. And as always, it's the Ryan Reynolds team, unlimited opportunities and exceptional experiences.